Yeah, sorry. Sorry about that. It cut out on me a little bit, so. Anyway, I did an electrical outlet that I usually use for my lights I hooked up all by myself. Wiring, this was originally, before I added that light, there was originally one wire running up here, the main for this one. Then when I hooked that up, I ran one underground into an electric box on ground, and it runs under the driveway, part of the driveway, and into this conduit here, hooks up into there, and looks like that on the sense side for this and stuff. And I added a sensor just after when I found out the timer didn't really work for those. I hooked the sensor up, and I already had a wiring running for the timer, so I had to run a new 2 wires up there hooking the sensor. That one is the main and one just the power both and stuff. And the work I did really originally for this, and the wiring runs under here. The spring loaded and stuff. And right now I'm not going to unplug it because this is hard to unplug. You need both hands to unplug it. You see, I run this underneath here. This is your electrical wire that runs in the ground into those light pole. And you can see another this one looks like on the inside. I wired this up. Originally, I took it out because the electrical box is seen better days. Plus, there's a little yellow jacket next to it. I didn't want to get out. If I did that, I had to cut out a little bit of wall way, so I had to use some of this scrap plywood we had laying around and just hook this. And then hook it up. I used two small holes in there to run nails into it. Then I used big one there to run the wiring through. And you can see it's actually pretty nice. It's just hooked under there. I made it look even as best as possible. And if you look in there, you can sort of see some wiring. You can sort of see some wiring coming out. And inside here, it's just like you would see in a typical household outlet. And the steps I used to take this, I used the wiring was already there, so I didn't have to new wiring. This little thing there, that's the original one I was stretch mounted. I just decided to use one of these. I was originally set in there. I kept tripping days just because it got wet. So I decided that when my dad fixed the windows, he had this there, and the tools I had to use some screwdrivers and go sort of cut the wood. Use this tool, the wood right here. That's the wood I cut off. And then I cut it off, and I used this little jagged edge here as a thing to help hook this up. This is just nailed in there, and the screws hooked in the electrical box into place. And I found out that there's a little hole in the back that's already there, so I just moved that up there, and I just ran the wiring out into the back instead of out here exposed and stuff. And you can see my electrical work is pretty awesome. I hooked this up all by myself, except when my mom helped me hook this up, and my sister helped me cut the first sheet of power I would for this. I'm the one who hooked the wiring up. Here's my face. Here's my face. Anyway, I just decided I'm gonna be check out some of my other videos, like my generators there, my emergency, my Nerf guns and stuff like that, airbags for my tractor and stuff like that. Check out my other videos. I'm also upload this on YouTube like normal. And you can see I put it in here because this is where my thing's plugged into. The plug is just like a typical household plug. I'm gonna want to eventually get a new one of these here. But I just had to bypass the ground because we didn't have money to buy that at the time. I see wrong, so I had to bypass the ground. I want to eventually, if these are not really grounded right now, these aren't grounded at all. So it's a dangerous to lightning strikes, it shuts everything, move everything up and stuff without ground. So what I want to do is I want to get a new one. So this wire, it's ground in here, it's not really hooked up, because just in there it's hooked up a little bit. So if I broke the ground off that little light by accident, so I'm going to get a new little ground, hook that up to there. And this wire, this is a feed wire thing. 2 wire if you don't include the ground, but anything. You can see the wiring for this light here went like this, then went under this, hooks into this electrical box where I join two wires together because there isn't enough. And this is the one in here. So if you were on disconnect that, this light here wouldn't work. I put this little conduit pipe in here. And by the way, you do not use plumbing pipe for this. It just makes matters worse. It's not designed for electrical. Here's pipes here designed for electrical. I put a little elbows on there, and I put little things in there, and you can see this elbow is hooked to the what? There's a little wire under there goes up into the box, which hooks into this. There's a ground. This is grounded as well. I put a little roof on there because we have water problems from flooding in the electrical box. So what made matters worse is I had to disconnect this. Dump all the water out, then go find a scratch some wood and tape this on there. I had to take this off, so like that. That water just flows off it. It's not the securest, but I might want to put get a little post and use that as support. But for snow, before snow comes, I definitely. So if my dad doesn't use those little pieces of wood that he has in there, scraps, I can use that to hold it up. And the wiring, the post goes deeper than the wiring does for this. The post goes way deeper than the wiring. There's also an elbow on the ground which the wire comes out of. Goes in here, turns, goes in here, goes under this. This year, I had to chisel up using a chisel, manual chisel stuff until I got it below the rock level. Then I hooked that up there. That's not just sitting on the ground, by the way. That's this little thing here. Let me show what's inside there. I put this here for maintenance uses because, and you can see do not use regular ones for this project because it's rust and stuff like this. This is designed for that. You see, under here to the board, I hooked this up to, let's see if it works like that. And you can see, it's nice in there actually. You can see stuff in there like that. Looks like this. It's spring-loaded too. See, it looks like that on the ground. There's a wire nuts that's still. See how black it is. That's not burnt. It's just covered in some stuff. I'm just trying to. I might want to eventually take the cover off. Find and get a new seal and put in there. I might have to keep retaining seals on this. So stuff like that. And I try keeping it look more. I try putting some rocks in here. I try putting tiny little rocks in the inside, so it helps as drainage if it water seeps in there. And stuff. And when you put the stuff in, I had to do it as best as I could, and not so you wouldn't take up the wiring by accident, because the wiring goes under here, delivers power to the thing, and I put some rocks in here. If you were to dig this out, with the board under here where it's just mounted to, it's not just sitting there, otherwise it'd sink. I use the whole one up to here boat. I use the hammer and I tap that and it's down. And yeah, yes, that's a chicken right over there. Chicken right toward the end. Yeah, and then you can see we had oops, no. Let's see. I did a lot of work on this place. Did the electricals and stuff like that. This is a scrap piece of wood. What I did to make sure everything worked before I hooked it out there, I used an access wire I call the test wire. It's a wire that you just put in there and make sure you hooked everything up right. Then when they're done and satisfied, you cut the wire off and you put it there. And you can see this is what the wiring looks like. And you can see I still have some wiring laying around when I hooked the sensor up. When I hooked the sensors up, you can see there's some over there. Those were from when I hooked the sensor up. It's the sensor here. Let's see what time it is. 9, 10, 11. Yeah, anyway, in the next video I'm gonna show you what the sensor looks like for that light. Anyway, have a good day. And subscribe. Please like and subscribe. Bye. See my face again. Bye.